Welcome to the first of many videos in my wedding series. I'm super excited. I was really interested in filming a series because even though I've thought about what I'd want a wedding to be in the last few years, you don't know what the process is like until you actually start planning and trying to put it together. And I'm really proud of us because we have not rushed the process. We've really just tried to figure out exactly what we want and then put that together. So I'm excited to take you guys through the steps of it. I've filmed so much content for this, so there's probably 3 or 4 videos already created that I just have to put together. But this first one will take you through searching for venues. And we started with such a wide list. So we were considering the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, West Virginia, California, Puerto Rico, Mexico, Rhode Island. I think upstate New York was an option at one point. And we eventually narrowed it down, but you'll kind of see the different locations that we looked at before we narrowed it down. And you'll see our wedding planner in some of the videos. So I'll quickly show you how I picked out wedding planners to talk to and kind of how we agreed on the one we have right now, which is Francie from Lauren Prattis. They're based in DC and I think Utah and California, but also do destination weddings. And something to note is that this first video that you're gonna watch takes place over the course of 3 months and doesn't necessarily happen in the order. I took some artistic liberties, but we kind of did a lot of things out of order, which I think is fine, as long as your journey and you know what you want. Hopefully you enjoy this first video. I'll probably have to jump in a few times and give you some insight on what's going on, so I'll do that too.
Vlog video of our prep session.
Good morning, good day. How are you doing? So I really wanted to, sorry for all the changes of angles. I really wanted to do a wedding series for you guys because I think there are probably a lot of people who are going through the process or don't know what to do. I think it'd probably be helpful to see what another couple is doing in order to prepare for a wedding. So we're about to have our first session with our wedding planner. This isn't our first session. We have get to know her session before we actually committed. And I think it'd be interesting to show you how I thought about getting a planner, what qualities I was looking for, how I went through that search, and then show you this initial kickoff meeting too, or at least parts of it. So you get a sense for the entire process. We also have already started researching going to venues, so I can show you some of those. I think it'll be a really fun way to take you all through this journey. Are you excited?
So excited. It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. Okay. So as I mentioned, for the past few years, I kept an album on Instagram of things that I've saved. And I started doing that for engagement rings that I liked. And then I started, venues, your decor, bridesmaids dresses. From there, sometimes I would search specific hashtags. So if I was okay, we want to get married in Puerto Rico, I just searched the hashtag Puerto Rico. With that, I started making note of certain venues that I liked in each place. And then when you go to wedding images that you like, they tend to list all the vendors they use. So I'd look at okay, here's the venue, here's the planner. Kind of easy to see what you like. And when you're looking at a specific area, you'll start to notice trends of things that you generally like. And that's kind of how I picked our planner too. I think we spoke to 5 different planners. We spoke to one planner in Puerto Rico. We spoke to a planner in New England. I reached out to a planner in Mexico, but they never actually set up time to chat with us, which once you start reaching out to talk to people, you figure out how responsive are they? How are they usually on time? Do you vibe with how they communicate? So it became like very clear to me like who our planner should be, and that's who we went with, and I'm really excited about that. From my saved album, you can also see like certain trends that became very clear to me. So I knew that I probably wanted like an outdoor ceremony with a lot of greenery. Some of the images you'll see had like a big house or mansion in the background, or like a big architectural structure. We quickly realized we wanted something on like an estate or a manor, just like a big plot of land with like a large house on it. I also really love the idea of a tented wedding, but more so because you still feel like you're outside even though you're inside. In my mind, I didn't really see myself having a wedding at like a big hotel and inside like a ballroom. That just wasn't my thing. And I think Kenny and I really aligned there. Like a nice like private, intimate estate or manor wedding was what we were looking for, and we're both very like classic tastes. Something where your like decor and florals can really shine. So those are kind of, for the most part, the places that we looked at.
So, just want to make sure you guys can like take the weekend, look through everything. As I mentioned, I'm sending a link because all of the information is going to continuously be updated once we hear back from all the venues. So
Okay, perfect.
take a look at that. We'll narrow it down. We'll touch base next week. And then as soon as, we start to narrow down the venues, as I mentioned, I'm going to do budget breakdowns to kind of give you an idea of, where we are. And then of course, if you're absolutely loving maybe like 5 venues and you really can't decide, well, let's go ahead and do a tour. So if you want to, book some flights, we can, chat through it afterwards. We can FaceTime while you're there. So we have lots of different options to kind of walk you through everything. I think that really is going to kind of be the driver, is like, I sent you all these venues, you narrow it down, we do some budget breakdowns, and we narrow it down further, you go see them, and then you'll book your venue. As I mentioned earlier, is that the venue is really going to drive your date. So if you're just absolutely in love with the venue and you won't be able to get married until like, I don't know, January 24, then that sounds like a good opportunity for you to get married in January 24. So, we'll definitely play around with that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works. So we are heading to our first wedding venue visit ever. One of the locations that we're considering is like the general DMV area, but like the Eastern Shore of Maryland, St. Michael's. So right now we're on our way to the Kirkland Manor. A lot of the venues that we're looking at are like estates, manors, basically like a big property surrounded by tons of grass. So excited to show you what this is like, and it should be good. A sign that says Kenny and Sharon's wedding. Okay, I saw a picture. Like, what if for a welcome dinner we just did like a long table going down the driveway? Like, could you imagine in between all these trees? And if we wanted to get extra, this would probably be expensive, but like my cherry blossom idea, like pink going down the sides and then a long table. So bucolic. I think having the house is very helpful. Like my mom in that kitchen, like could make us
Or that kitchen.
yeah, or that kitchen could make us a welcome dinner. I love that there's like a pool, there's the dock. I think the dock idea changes the idea of what I want for the brunch, but like it's a very cool alternative. And I think for brunch, people come at like different times. So it's not like we'd have 80 people there at once.
Or we do the rehearsal dinner there.
You said what? Or we do a rehearsal dinner on the dock.
And that'd be too dark.
Yeah. But that, we could get lights, string lights.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
It would definitely be a vibe. I haven't looked at the cost of like the restrooms yet. I'm sure that's very expensive. I didn't realize that was going to be a thing. So I'll look into pricing for that. And then the only major con is like the 10 p.m. noise ordinance, but I think that's going to be an issue regionally. So great first visit. Now we're driving up to the second location that we're considering in St. Michael's, Maryland. This is going to be the Inn at Perry Cabin. They basically told us that they didn't have any availability to give us a tour this weekend, but we're just gonna drive up since we're in the area and walk around and then try to get lunch there. Cross your fingers that this works out for us, and either way I'm sure I'll get good photos and videos of the whole thing. But it's a really beautiful property, really expensive property. I don't have my hopes up that we can actually get married there, but good to see it and get a feel for it. Very cute little town in Maryland. These scenic drive-ups are very nice. Yeah, it is very nice. This is the crab salad, side of fries, Cobb salad with smoked salmon. You said it seems so close to what? What are your thoughts?
Awesome space. I think it is exactly how it's been described. It's just been immaculately maintained, and love the aesthetics, the manicured lawns. Yeah, they're really cool.
Okay, what were your cons?
Cons of it?
Yeah.
Well, shit's probably expensive.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually, from comparing other places in the area, it's actually not like so outlandish. The only thing that was more expensive was, I believe, the food and beverage minimum is like above what I was thinking that we would spend. And then I also don't know what the room rate would be. That would be something that would make it or break it, because we don't want to put like such a horrible burden on our guests. And I think our guests just wouldn't end up staying there if it was too expensive. So something to consider. We toured the St. Regis in DC, which was more of a wild card for us because it is a big, well-known hotel. But the reason we went with that option is because they have a really beautiful courtyard. So it feels like you're not necessarily in the city. You can have like an outdoor ceremony there. You could have a dinner out there. So you'll see what it looked like. We didn't end up going with that, but I feel like if you have the budget for decor and to like really transform it, I think it'd be a cool option. The other thing to note is that like budget was obviously a big thing. So initially I thought I wanted a tented wedding, but tents are really expensive. They typically range from like 18 to 25,000 depending on size, and if you need like restrooms or generators and all of that stuff. So that's something to note, because we kept thinking like maybe we could find like a friend with a big property and have a tented wedding, but it's still fairly expensive to build everything out. So something that initially attracted us about the St. Regis was that during certain time periods of the year, like fall and winter, they did have a tent and they included that in the cost, which is really amazing. But when we went to visit, they mentioned that that might no longer be an option. So for me, it didn't quite make sense.
So this marble extends into here.
That's
But
fabulous.
there were a bunch of pieces missing. Oh, sorry. So this is just temporary.
Okay, this is good to know. Wow, this is fabulous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, red. I mean, red.
It was also in kind of bad shape.
Oh!
This is wood?
Your face.
What? You have no idea. You have absolutely no
It's really pretty in
idea.
here.
Wait, is it gonna say wood?
They were in
I would just say this personally isn't a road that I would recommend for them. I think it's a great, like, yeah.